Essay number 87, How to Tame Your Inner Demons. Your inner demons are talking to you right now. They're telling you you're not good enough, that everyone can see through you, that you're fooling yourself, that any minute now everyone's going to realize you're a fraud. And you've probably tried everything to shut them up. Meditation, therapy, self-help books, positive affirmations in the mirror every morning. Maybe it works for a day, an hour, 5 minutes. But they always come back, don't they? I used to think I could transcend my inner demons. I thought if I could just get enlightened enough, spiritual enough, healed enough, they'd disappear. I thought the voice saying, "You're not good enough," would finally shut up once I reached some mythical level of self-actualization. I was wrong. And if you're waiting for that day too, you're going to be waiting forever. Here's what nobody tells you about inner demons. You don't tame them by destroying them. You don't tame them by transcending them. You don't tame them by pretending they don't exist. You tame them by understanding what they really are. Your inner demons aren't based in reality. They never were. They're not telling you the truth about who you are. They're telling you what you're afraid other people think you are. They're reciting back every insecurity you've ever had, every criticism you've ever received, every fear you have about being exposed as inadequate. They strike at your sore spots because they know exactly where you're vulnerable. They know because they are you. They're the part of you that learned, probably very young, that the world was dangerous and you needed to be on guard. These demons keep you stuck in a place where other people's perceptions become your reality, where what someone might think about you matters more than what you know to be true about yourself, where a stranger's opinion can override years of evidence to the contrary. I thought I could outsmart them. I thought if I could just stop thinking analytically, if I could stop observing my life and just live it, they'd lose their power. I thought I could become the person experiencing thoughts and feelings instead of the person who is their thoughts and feelings. And sometimes it worked. In moments of flow, in moments of presence, the demons would go quiet. But the second I needed to think, to process, to make a decision, to face a challenge, there they were again. You can't do this. You're going to fail. Everyone will see what a mess you are. That's when I realized you can't live your life in pure experience mode. You can't float above your thoughts forever. Every part of you has to work together. The thinker, the feeler, the observer, the experiencer. And that means learning to coexist with your demons, not trying to exorcise them. Your inner demons aren't something to get over. They're not something to ignore. They're something to acknowledge, understand, and then consciously choose to cultivate differently. Because here's what your inner demons really are. They're mental patterns, habitual thoughts, neural pathways that have been reinforced so many times they've become superhighways in your brain. And just like any habit, they can be changed. But not by fighting them. Fighting them only makes them stronger. It's like telling yourself not to think about a pink elephant. Suddenly, pink elephants are all you can think about. The antidote isn't resistance, it's awareness. The moment you realize a thought is coming from fear and irrationality, you've already started to disarm it. The moment you recognize that voice isn't telling you the truth, it starts to lose its power. The moment you understand that you don't have to listen to that voice, that you are not that voice, you stop being controlled by it. Think about it this way. Your inner demons are like a smoke alarm that's too sensitive. They go off when you burn toast, not just when the house is on fire. They're trying to protect you, but they're overreacting to everything. When these demons collide with reality, when what they're telling you conflicts with what you know to be true, that's when anxiety and depression take hold. Something in you is trying to grow, to emerge, to become, but your demons are holding it back, saying it's too dangerous, you're not ready, you're not enough. This is the human condition. Having self-doubt is human. Irrational fears are human. Inner demons are human. There's nothing wrong with you for having them. Everyone has them. The people who seem most confident, they have them too. They've just learned something you haven't yet. They've learned that mindset is a cultivation. It's a garden you tend, not a switch you flip. And like any garden, what grows depends on what you plant and what you feed. Every time you believe your inner demons, you're watering those plants. Every time you act on their fears, you're giving them fertilizer. Every time you let them make your decisions, you're ensuring they'll grow stronger. But you can choose to cultivate something different. This doesn't mean you'll never have another self-doubting thought. It doesn't mean you'll stop caring what people think. It doesn't mean your inner demons will pack up and leave. These aspects of being human are universal, and they're not going anywhere. They're programmed into us for a reason. Evolutionarily, it was better to be paranoid than dead. It was better to care too much about the tribe's opinion than to be exiled. It was better to doubt yourself than to overestimate your abilities and get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. But we don't live in that world anymore, and these ancient protection mechanisms are now preventing us from living the lives we want to live. They're keeping us small in a world that requires us to be visible. They're keeping us scared in a world that rewards courage. They're keeping us isolated in a world that runs on connection. So how do you actually tame them? First, recognize them for what they are. When that voice says you're not good enough, recognize it as fear, not fact. When it says everyone thinks you're stupid, recognize it as projection, not perception. When it says you're going to fail, recognize it as anxiety, not prophecy. Second, thank them. I know that sounds insane, but hear me out. Your inner demons are trying to protect you. They're using outdated methods and wrong information, but their intention is to keep you safe. So thank them for their concern, and then politely decline their advice. Third, choose consciously. What do you consume? How do you structure your days? What do you give your time and attention to? What do you assign meaning and value to? These choices either feed your demons or starve them. Fourth, act despite them. This is the crucial part. You'll never not hear your inner demons, but you don't have to act based on what they say. You can hear you're going to embarrass yourself and still raise your hand. You can hear they'll reject you and still send the message. You can hear you're not qualified and still apply for the job. Because here's the secret. Your demons get quieter when you stop obeying them. Every time you act despite their warnings and the world doesn't end, they lose a little bit of their credibility. Every time you do the thing they said would destroy you and you survive, their voice gets a little weaker. You're not trying to become someone who never doubts themselves. You're trying to become someone who doubts themselves and does it anyway. You're not trying to stop caring what people think. You're trying to care what people think and still choose what's right for you. Your natural default setting, the one that's scared and small and constantly comparing, isn't the one you have to operate on forever. But the longer you let every deprecating thought control you, the more you cement those beliefs into reality. Because your demons aren't just wrong about who you are, they're actively preventing you from becoming who you could be. Every time you listen to them, you're choosing their narrow, fear-based version of your life over the actual possibilities that exist. This isn't about positive thinking. This isn't about affirmations. This isn't about pretending you're confident when you're not. This is about recognizing that the voice in your head isn't the voice of truth. It's the voice of fear. And you don't have to obey fear. Your inner demons will always be with you. They're part of the human package. But they don't have to be in charge. They can be passengers, but they don't get to drive. They can voice their concerns, but they don't get to make the decisions. The question isn't whether you'll ever stop having inner demons. You won't. The question is whether you'll let them run your life, or whether you'll learn to live with them while choosing something bigger than fear. The question is whether you'll spend your life obeying the voice that keeps you small, or whether you'll act despite it and discover who you really are. The question is whether your demons will tame you or whether you'll tame them. They're talking to you right now, telling you this won't work, that you can't change, that you'll always be this way. Are you going to listen to them? Or are you going to thank them for their input and then do what you need to do anyway? The choice, and it is a choice, is yours. What's it going to be?